The pyramids built by aliens? Did humans or slaves create the pyramids? Who do you think created the pyramids? What do you think the pyramids are? Some people say it's a tomb. Some people say it's uh, a power plant. What do you think it is? And why do you think, or how do you think primitive civilization like cave dwellers, that's what humans would have been around the time the pyramids were built, how did they create something so magnificent from blocks 100 miles away that weighed thousands of pounds? I think the pyramids were not built by slaves. They're not a tomb. They're not a thing for the pharaoh. I think they are a temple to the gods, and I think that's the reason they were built, and that's the only reason they could have been built, is because they were built and divinely guided by God. And the reason I believe so is because there's all those blocks. They weigh thousands of pounds each, but inside of those blocks, there's the king's chamber and the queen's chamber. There's things that are cut out from the inside of the pyramids. So if normal people were just stacking blocks on top of each other, okay, that'd be fine, but there wouldn't be no cavity on the inside. The fact that there's a cavity on the inside and it's an articulate cavity, it makes sense that humans couldn't have done it because they wouldn't have been able to put the blocks on without and make that cavity like that. They could stack the blocks on top of each other. Don't get me wrong. If they had a crane, they could stack the blocks on top of each other, but they couldn't have had that cavity cut out and make it still line up perfectly. And did you know that the pyramids separate the earth into four quarters? Because the pyramid has four different sides, and each side has like a slit in the inside. But so there's really kind of like eight sides, but there's four sides, so it divides the earth into four quarters. And it also it it's just very magnificent. There's a lot of things that the pyramid has done that it's just like for instance, like the specks on the pyramid like align perfectly with like the diameter of the earth and things like that. I don't have exact references off the top of my head, but I remember looking into this before, and there was like the base or something of the pyramid is like one, 600th of the earth or something, but it's like exactly, it's like an exact dimension of the earth. So that's why they say this could be an exact representation of our earth, or our model of our earth. Some people say that, but I think, like I said, I think it's that not aliens created it, but I think God divinely guided man or some type of being, whether it might have been pre before man, some type of being that existed before man, divinely guided that entity to build the pyramid as an altar to itself. Just like how Jesus would pray to God, but Jesus was God, so Jesus was praying to himself. Like, that's kind of the similar aspect to this. God was building an altar to himself for himself. Just like the Bible, the Bible is a book authored by God, dedicated to God. Everything is about God. People say, show me proof of divinity in the universe. Show me proof of non-divinity. Everything is divine. Everything came from the divine. There's not one thing that isn't divine. Some things are more divine than others, but nothing is non-divine. Everything comes from God. The pyramids are proof that God exists. And people's lack of faith is probably the reason we don't see the pyramid and its magnificence that it once was. So, what is the pyramid? It's some type of energy vortex for God, who is the creator of energy. That's what I think. What do you think? Leave a comment.